You made it, okay?
Is there not like a harbour?
It's sort of nature's harbour.
Welcome to Wallis Island.
No!
Do you sell rice? My phone got wet.
We've got pasta.
Has to be rice, apparently. Oh, you've got rice pudding, look. Rice pudding definitely won't work.
Well, not with that attitude. No, it won't.
Morning, gentlemen. How are we doing?
Very good, thanks.
This was a short film in 2007, right?
That's right, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
I watched a bit of it on YouTube. The camera quality wasn't as good. Your haircuts weren't as good either, I might say. But it was
fashionable at the time.
Yeah, it was kind of like an Arctic Monkeys kind of haircut. Anyway, more importantly, it was interesting to see how similar some of the dialogue and the scenes were. How did you go about, I suppose, extending it and expanding it into a full-length film?
Well, firstly, I'll address the camera quality.
Don't rise to it. Don't rise to it.
That'll be YouTube. That'll be a resolution.
Yeah, that's
thing
a
on
resolution
YouTube.
thing.
Yeah.
It's a good question. I feel like we always knew we wanted to make a feature that was based on this short, but the nuts and bolts of it are a little fiddly. I think we always knew we'd start in a similar way and end in a similar way, and then after that you're sort of slightly cherry picking. And I sometimes think we've taken too much of the short film, and sometimes I think we could have taken more. It's a real balance. I mean, it sort of sticks out, even in the script, when we have the script in front of us, there's whole scenes that are the same, and you don't know whether you're doing the right thing by doing that. But I think it's born out of the fact that all three of us loved that short film, so I think we weren't too scared to have some of its DNA, in the feature. But where that line is drawn, I don't know.
Yeah, we did. We certainly looked to sort of, they were the hardest scenes to film, I think, because we'd been there, and some of those, sort of trying to capture that again, or the magic of those moments again, was quite difficult. But I think we managed to elevate those moments, and comedically and hopefully cinematically, just sort of opened that whole world up.
Yeah, and I think then obviously when Carey's character Nell arrives in the film, it's completely at that point we depart wholesale from the short, and it becomes a completely new story and its own film. And so I think that that decision to do that is, I think, what elevates the whole thing and actually kind of allows it to feel like a feature film in its own right. Not least because it just brings with it a lot more emotional resonance, a lot more drama, a lot more tension, just stuff that the short film can't really do. The short is first and foremost a quite sketchy comedy, and I think as soon as Nell turns up, the film just goes into a very different place, and it becomes very emotionally charged. So I think that's the main kind of division between the two things. Yeah.
But go on, what happened?
Do you invite Nell?
Yeah, she's with Michael,
Who's Michael?
the husband.
Oh, shit.
In a good way, or?
You knew I was coming, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't really listen to your songs back in the day.
Is this my guitar?
Yeah, got that at auction.
Oh, wow, you are a fan.
My favourite is always Maguire Mortimer. Your music changed everything.
He's going to get his guitar.
Oh, has he? Has he? Ah.
Fantastic. And I suppose your lives would be quite different compared to back then as well. Did that change how you approached the story at all?
Yeah,
I think so. You just, it's inevitable that you bring your lived experience into the film, and in a way, it would have been hard to make this film directly after the short because we just weren't old enough and hadn't experienced those things. And also, the film is about nostalgia. It is about looking back and characters who are stuck in the past and wanting to move forward. So, without a past, it would be tricky to do that. So it kind of, well, it was Tom and Tim's writing that kind of pushed us in that direction. And I was, I think it was a beautiful decision to sort of make it right now when we are the people we are, living our lives now.
Yeah, it's funny that the way that the story of the film kind of mirrors our experience of the short, and that it is about people longing for a sort of time in their life when they were free and innocent and sort of creatively, just had this sort of feeling that they could just do anything.
Did you have that?
I think in the 20s I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I did.
Yeah.
You think you're going to make loads of them, don't you?
Yeah.
At that age.
Yeah. And you know, that's kind of what the film is about, is people harking back to that for different reasons. You know, Charles and Herb looking at the past for different reasons, but longing to kind of return to it through music, and ultimately realizing that you can't. You've got to move on.
Great. The music is fantastic. You wrote all the songs
Thank you.
yourself, Tom. Is that right?
Yeah,
Were you a songwriter in a past life, or was this something new for you?
In a past life, I don't know. I'd need to talk to the relevant Buddhists to kind of get more intel on that, I think. But
They're all relevant.
yeah, they are. Yeah. But I mean, I've written a lot of comedy songs, and I've been, you know, and I've been writing songs just sort of for myself at home over the years, never thinking that I'd do much with them, and just deeply embarrassed at the thought of ever being forced to. So this was the kind of ideal way for me to use those songs to do it through a character, so it's not me, it's not quite as exposing or embarrassing as it would be if I was releasing them as myself.
And James and Tim, what was your reaction to hearing his songs?
I mean, I thought they were just. I mean, obviously they're beautiful songs in their own right, but also what I think Tom managed to do, which is the sort of secret sauce of the film, I think, is to tell that story of their backstory through the music, and allow the characters to sort of talk to each other through the music, with Nell and Herb kind of able to say things. Certainly Herb able to say things to Nell in a song, which is true of, you know, how we communicate with each other sometimes through our kind of love for each other or connecting with each other. But they're able to do that through the music, and Tom tells that story really beautifully. And I think there's a real, you know, he's managed to kind of find that temperature throughout the film.
And yeah, and just to add, when he first did it, which was 18 years ago, it was kind of one of the highlights of doing it, where, and it all came I think it came quite late that he was writing them. I think we wrote the script and were filming quite quickly after that. I do remember he was writing lyrics in the car on the way there. Do you remember that?
Classy.
I think you were writing Raspberry Fair on the way there.
Right.
So yeah, but hearing him play them for the first time was fantastic. We lived together, so in the flat, and then on set, where it's just kind of this one. What does anyone think about this one? Yeah. And it was all sort of beautiful. Yeah, all kind of ready-made and sort of perfect for the film. You know, kind of made the short film and then made the feature.
And I was making music videos at that time. So at that time, you would get the artist's cassette, the track on a cassette, and Tom sent over these on cassette, and it reminded me of bands. I mean, it was. I mean, it was.
Cassette?
It was. Yeah, it was
really?
cassette. Yeah.
Wow.
But it was like early 2000s, and I was making music videos for those kind of bands, some of those bands. So it felt like, oh, this feels very authentic. Yeah, this feels like the real thing. Listening to it felt like the same experience. So yeah, it's very impressive.
Okay, I want to just squeeze one final question in. Apologies. This is about music and nostalgia. Is there a song for each of you in your own lives that has a lot of sentimental value?
I'll start. I've got She's a Rainbow by the Rolling Stones. I've got a lot of connotations with that. And then I've used it as a theme tune and things and stuff. I kind of always go back to that track.
Yeah, mine's probably Rocket Man, actually. Just a time.
Really?
Yeah. That's just very specific kind of memories. But yeah, good old Elton John. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I think mine's probably I Know It's Over by the Smiths. Just got me through sixth form, I think. You know.
Yeah.
I relied quite heavily on that song.
Thank you so much, guys, for your time, and thanks again for the film. It was fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.